Pau Gasol making like Dwight Howard and calling out the Lakers coaching staff after their Game 4 loss to the Nuggets. Gasol saying he wishes they would take more advantage of the team's height and their inside game. And for more on this series, we welcome in ESPN The Magazine's Rick Bucher. Rick, Pau Gasol may not look like an NBA champion to you, but what do you make of his comments?
Obviously, if they play Andrew Bynum, it means that Pau Gasol has less defensive and rebounding responsibilities. And the way the triangle works, if Bynum is in, it means Pau Gasol gets more touches. So your comparison to the Dwight Howard situation is not that far off. Playing Bynum would be very beneficial to Gasol, and this is the one issue that I have with this Lakers team, with Gasol in particular, with the team in general, is that they don't like to play physically. And yet, when you look at his size and his ability, he certainly has that capability. It's just not the style that he likes to play. If they're going to win a championship, I'll go back to it again. If they're going to win a championship, they are going to have to play that physical style, whether they like to or not. Well,
especially when they get outworked the way they did on the boards, like they did last night. Chris Anderson, Kenyon Martin combining for 29 rebounds, which is nearly as many as they had in games 1 through 3 combined. How were they able to be so aggressive last night?
I expected it in Game 3 already, and that's the general case when you have role players playing on their home floor. They seem to feed off the crowd more. And let's face it, when it's just a matter, when you're a role player, by and large, it's usually a matter of your job is to bring energy. And when you have people cheering for you, you're more likely to have that energy, and that's essentially what happened. But this shouldn't come as a surprise. This has been the way the Lakers have been outworked on the road pretty consistently throughout these playoffs. And again, it's not a matter of talent. That's the frustrating thing about these Lakers. A very talented team, I would argue the most talented team left playing in the playoffs. But they don't always bring the effort, whether that's because they believe that they can out-talent teams or whether they don't have the endurance. Whatever it may be, they don't bring it, and that's my big question about their ability to win a title.
Rick, the series is tied at 2 apiece. Who has control of this series?
Denver, I would say Denver does. Even though that the Lakers have resumed the home court advantage, Denver has demonstrated, again, throughout these all 4 games, they have been decided based on what Denver has done. When they lost their composure and they took quick shots in Game 3, they lost. When they didn't execute in Game 1, they lost. When they've played up to their ability, they have won. And so the question I have as far as who comes out of this series, Denver is the better team. George Karl said it the other night. I agree with him. They overall are the better team. But do they have the composure and the poise with the NBA Finals, with an NBA Finals berth staring them in the face? Do they have the poise to actually grasp that? They didn't show it in Game 3, and that gives me a little concern that they may not be mature enough. But overall, I would say that Denver is exactly where it would like to be.
Rick, Phil Jackson accusing Nuggets guard Dante Jones of playing unsportsmanlike basketball by intentionally tripping Kobe Bryant. Do you see the league taking any action?
Certainly the league is going to review it, and you know how far they're going to go on these matters. It's become awfully arbitrary and hard to judge, but from what I saw, there's no question that it was intentional and it was a dangerous play. And if they hold to the letter of the law the way they've gone, the way they've been so careful about not letting things get out of hand, I would expect some sort of repercussion. A suspension would be a little strong, certainly too much, but I could see some sort of a fine, or and I'm not even sure if they could put a retro technical on it or whatever, but I could see some sort of punishment, because in my mind, that combined with the push in the back on an earlier Kobe Bryant drive is an indication that Dante is taking this aggression just a little too far.
Well, the Cavs and the Magic play Game 4 tonight. Dwight Howard and Stan Van Gundy, as you know, tired of the disrespect. Have they earned the respect by now, being up 2-1 in this series?
They have mine. And I, for all season long, said that this team was not a legitimate title contender, and I questioned their defense in spite of the numbers. Having gotten a long look at what they do, it's an unorthodox defense in that they are rather porous on the perimeter as far as dribble penetration, and they rely on Dwight Howard to clean up a lot of messes as far as that's concerned. But they've made it work. And the ability to shoot and score under pressure in the clutch, Hedo Turkoglu and Rashard Lewis have demonstrated that they have that. They are a unique, unorthodox team. But Stan Van Gundy and his team collectively have made that work. So in my eyes, yeah, I have no problem saying I could easily see this team in the finals.
Well, for this game tonight, how did the Cavs get more guys not named LeBron involved?
For this game tonight, it's going to be difficult because they are what they are at this stage. Changing their offense is going to be difficult. What they ultimately need is that LeBron James has to develop a post-up game, whether it's on the block or it's in the pinch post. But he's got to be able to work well enough down there to get other guys shots. He doesn't really have that. So everything is coming off the perimeter and dribble penetration. And Orlando right now has the type of defense that can limit what LeBron is able to do going to the hoop. There hasn't been a team this year that's been that effective doing it, and so Cleveland hasn't had to come up with any other scenarios. But in the short term, there are no easy answers. I'd say that rather than getting other guys involved, what they've got to do is find a way to ratchet up their defense and eliminate some of what Orlando is getting. That is going to be the key to Cleveland trying to get back in this series or avoiding being knocked out.
This is the most curious, Rick, I've been in terms of trying to see how a team will respond in a game during the entire NBA playoffs. ESPN The Magazine senior writer Rick Bucher, always great to have your insight. Thank you, Rick.
You got it, Michelle.